Hello and welcome to Bangladesh Today. I'm Smita Prakash. In the run-up to the general elections and its outcome, Bangladesh has seen a string of attacks on Hindus in different parts of the country, especially in the north. The brutal attacks on religious minorities was apparently for voting for the Awami League in the general elections earlier this month. Several cadres of the Jamaat-e-Islami have been arrested for the violence. This is exactly the kind of reprisals that many Bangladeshis were scared of, that led them to stay away from the voting process. The violence let loose against the Hindus this time, before and after the January 5th elections, has been the worst in recent times. Areas of Jessore, Dinajpur, Satkhira, Gaibandha, Rajshahi and Chittagong have been particularly affected. There are violent attacks on villages, business establishments and places of worship of Hindus. Young men are now sitting on night vigils, trying to protect the women and children. There have been reports of women being raped. Many Hindus say that the atrocities are reminding them of what their community faced in 1971 at the hands of the Pakistani army and the local collaborators.
Bangladesh is a very sad situation, and this sort of atrocity we should condemn. And any sort of minority, the sense of insecurity in any country, I think always it is condemnable. But this Bangladesh, not only our neighboring country, the maximum border with West Bengal also. And what I think, the change of political regime after this election, because the same political leadership, Sheikh Hasina is there, and the positive aspect of Sheikh Hasina, she wants secularism. She wants to secularize Bangladesh society. And you know, there is a lot of debate is on with the Supreme Court and the Hasina government that the character of the state, it should be more secular, and the religiosity should not be the determining factor of the statism, the statehood. So I think it's a transitional phase of Dhaka society also. So we should be a little patient also on that, because Sheikh Hasina, we have faith on her. She wants to secularize the country. But the problem is that the Jamaat, the militant Jamaatis, now they are very active. And that there is a strong polarization in Dhaka society that is not, complementary for Indian society. So I think we should condemn, and there should be some movement against that sense of insecurity. We should also play a very important role.
Bangladesh's High Court has asked the government to provide sufficient protection to Hindus after extensive attacks. The court also wanted a report from the authorities about the harm caused by these attacks against the community. The two-member bench, consisting of Justices Qazi Reza ul Haq and Altaf Hussain, also sought answers as to why an order will not be issued to stop oppression of minorities and that the culprits be brought to justice. Bangladeshi Hindus took out a protest march in Dhaka against the atrocities their community is facing at the hands of the BNP-led hooligans and their allies. They demanded stern penalty against the attackers and called for prompt rehabilitation of the victims.
আমরা মহাজোর থেকে এসেছি, আমরা চাই আমাদের হিন্দুদের শান্তি, আমাদের হিন্দুদের ঘরবাড়ি মন্দির পোড়াইয়ে দিয়েছে, মা বোনদের নির্যাতন করেছে, তার উচিত বিচার আমি চাই, তার উচিত বিচার আমি চাই।
Meanwhile, a UK-based group of Bangladeshi Hindus, Buddhists and Christians living in Europe demonstrated outside the British Parliament protesting against the atrocities committed on Hindus in Bangladesh. The protesters of the Campaign for the Protection of Religious Minorities in Bangladesh also marched to the British Prime Minister's office in 10 Downing Street to tender a petition to Prime Minister David Cameron to criticize the attacks. Another petition was sent to the Bangladeshi High Commissioner in London to be forwarded to the Bangladeshi Prime Minister. In India, the opposition Bharatiya Janata Party strongly condemned the attack on Hindus and asked the Indian government to take up the issue with the Bangladeshi government through diplomatic channels.
See, what is happening in Bangladesh, particularly against the minorities, Hindus, post-election is very sad story. It was happening even before the election. Unnecessarily, without any cause, the minorities, the Hindus are targeted in villages. This is absolutely unacceptable. And therefore, we expect that the Bangladesh government takes a strong action against the perpetrators of crime who are burning, attacking the temples, burning the houses of Hindus and indulge into loot and plunder. And therefore, we demand strong action against the perpetrators.
India's External Affairs Ministry, though on its part, has said that it is in touch with Bangladesh over reports of attacks on Hindus. External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Syed Akbaruddin said that the government was aware of the reports on attacks on minorities in the past few days. In 2001, during the BNP Jamaat regime, thousands of Hindus had left Bangladesh for India after constant persecution. The Awami League government will need to take quick steps to restore law and order in the Hindu majority districts to restore confidence in its citizens. The threat to minorities in Bangladesh is clearly from the Jamaat and its political ally, the BNP. Former Prime Minister and Chief of the BNP, Khaleda Zia, has not tried to rein in the Jamaat, nor has she tried to stop their anti-minority acts. Instead, she indirectly blamed the Awami League government for the attacks. She said that the minority people were attacked to divert the attention of the people and the international community from what she termed a farcical election. Khaleda Zia will not sever ties with the Jamaat despite the ethnic cleansing activity they are indulging in. The Jamaat in Bangladesh is on the same track as its counterpart in Pakistan to rid the country of non-Islamic denomination people. The Jamaat and various Islamic fundamentalist groups have constantly played a divisive role since Bangladesh's War of Liberation. In 1971, they sided with the Pakistan Army in ethnic cleansing and eliminating people who were demanding an independent nation based on a linguistic and secular identity. In 1971, Bangladesh was just 25% Hindu. Today, 8% remain, but it is still the second largest religious community in the country. In the 1971 Liberation War, all communities, including Hindus, had fought together for the liberation of Bangladesh. Today, they are once again fearing for their life, liberty, property and dignity due to the retributive action by the Jamaat cadres. The Jamaat's hidden agenda is to convert Bangladesh into a monolithic Islamic country like Pakistan. This is clearly a challenge to the civilizational history and identity of Bangladesh. Meanwhile, in other news, the 2014 T20 World Cup and the Asia Cup, which is to be hosted by Bangladesh, has come under a cloud of uncertainty because of the unsettling atmosphere prevailing in the country. Cricket security officials are expected to meet in Bangladesh later this week to decide whether it is safe to hold the World T20 Cup, which kicks off on March 16th this year. They may, at the last moment, decide to move the tournament to neighbouring India or possibly Sri Lanka. Cities of Dhaka and Chittagong are scheduled to hold the major bulk of the matches. The Chief Executive of the Federation of International Cricketers Association, Paul Marsh, has said that the players were concerned about the threat aspect and therefore it was totally compulsory to get an independent and unambiguous inspection. Many countries, including Australia, England, New Zealand and West Indies, have already expressed reservations about travelling to the South Asian nation. The Asia Cup, which begins from February 25th, has been given the green signal. The tournament will be held at two separate venues in Dhaka, Fatullah and Sher-e-Bangla Stadium, beginning with Pakistan's clash against Sri Lanka at Fatullah. Meeting in Colombo, the Asian Cricket Council examined the security plan proposed by the Bangladesh Cricket Board before giving the tournament the go-ahead. Secretary of Sri Lanka Cricket, Nishanta Ranatunga, said that they wanted Bangladesh to host the tournament after all necessary security arrangements are made.
We want this region to continue cricket. We need to go and play cricket in all the countries. So the purpose of this meeting was to make sure that we have got sufficient security aspect discussed at this meeting, which we did. So we'll be monitoring the situation, and probably by the 9th or the 10th after the elections in Bangladesh, we will have a relook at it.
ACC Chief Executive Shahid Ashraful has also said that the tournament was expected to go ahead as planned.
We are not over here. We were not over here to discuss the T20 World Cup. But in the same way, for the T20 World Cup, I think ICC is sending a security team to Bangladesh sometimes in the end of January. It's up to them to decide. It's got nothing to do with us. As far as our tournaments are concerned, it's going to be held as scheduled with the addition of Afghanistan.
Nizamuddin Chaudhry, the BCB acting CEO, has said in a statement that the board was capable of organizing the tournament smoothly and in a peaceful atmosphere. The ongoing unrest has already impacted cricket. The touring New Zealand team skipped a training session late last October due to the strike called on October 27th, and in December 2013, the West Indies under-19 team left the tour of Bangladesh midway following an explosion near the team hotel in Chittagong. The attack on the Sri Lankan team coach 5 years ago in Lahore, where Sri Lanka played Pakistan, is still quite fresh in the memory of players and the boards, and that is why extra steps are being taken to prevent any untoward incidents. Cricket is extremely popular in South Asia, including Bangladesh. The Delta nation would not want to go down Pakistan's path, where no international cricket has been played since 2009. Before we end, here's a weekly roundup section.
BNP chairperson Khalida Zia has said that she was firm in her decision to carry forward the movement BNP has initiated to reinstate democracy. She urged the government to instantly take steps